Sachem of the Pokanoket, one of the groups that made up the Wampanoag Confederacy. He had risen to the leadership of all the Wampanoag, earning his title Massasoit.
Massasoit is a classic sort of village chief or super village chief in the Algonquin world. He is a man of great respect among his people. He doesn't have the coercive power that a European sovereign or a monarch would have. He is a person who leads by example, and people have faith in his leadership and his experience.
Throughout that winter, Massasoit wrestled with the question of how to deal with the newcomers. The chief's first impulse had been to put a curse on the Pilgrims and watch them die off altogether. But the weakened Wampanoag needed any friends they could get. Massasoit was paying steep tribute to the Narragansett, but he knew his near neighbors had the numbers to overrun the remaining Wampanoag villages whenever they chose. And he was aware that the strangers came from a nation of wealth and military might.
During the winter of 1620-21, Massasoit must have been thinking about the possibilities of some kind of alliance, because the Pilgrims look pretty manageable, given the fact that 50% of them are dead by the end of the first winter. Massasoit, and this is an assumption that was made by Indians all up and down the coast, would have thought this will be good. I can have these people here. I can get from them the things that I want from Europeans, and I can control them. So they'll be an ally and a benefit to me and my people.
Kisikwan karabalamis nuichi iu kisikak wanigan. Panu papapinam wa andamay ni nadusa nuichi. Wananumio wache ninimi siniwog.
It's over here. Give us a hand there.
Country ain't fit for man or beast. That's ready now.
We'll need more wood over here. It's just there. We'll need a cotton wool over here. Get the gun here. Get back here. Steady, boys. Stay
In the
there.
first days of spring 1621, Massasoit sent a small party into the Pilgrim settlement.
All right, stay back, everyone. Come on. Look at us.
Please.
The Wampanoag chief and 60 of his men waited on the far side of a small river. He refused to enter the village himself until the Pilgrims agreed to give up a hostage.
Don't worry. Right here.
The English chose a young man with little to lose. Edward Winslow was a 25-year-old whose wife was just days from death.
You're all right, lad.
Winslow agreed to go as the hostage and to deliver Governor John Carver's invitation to Massasoit to enter Plymouth for talks.
I come from King James, who welcomes you with love and peace. The King says, my lord, is his friend and ally. Please, enter our village. Mr. Carver, the governor, would like to speak with you. Please, we wish to be at peace with you as our closest neighbours. Please.
Among the men with Massasoit that day was a Wampanoag who could act as translator. Tisquantum, or Squanto, had been kidnapped years earlier and sold into slavery in Europe. When he made his way back home, Squanto could speak a little English and was familiar with European custom.
My king welcomes you here.
This is one of the very first of these treaty encounters that are going to become such an important part of Anglo-American relations with Indian peoples across the continent.
We want to be at peace with you. We want you to promise that none of your people will harm any of our people.
Uten, kakantam, wana Kenya, wana te naspi ninawa.
Anunas mata no was ia o nanog.
Let us agree then that if anyone unjustly attack you, then we will help you. And if anyone unjustly attack us, then you will help us.
There was cause for joy on both sides. The Pilgrims had friends to help them navigate the unfamiliar hardships of their new home. The Wampanoag had made themselves the first and favored ally of the new English colony.
There's a very clear sense that Massasoit understands the entire treaty as reciprocal. At the very end of the treaty, it says, if you do these things, then King James will esteem you his friend and ally. So it would make very good sense for the Indians to think, this is an alliance. This is a meeting between friends. As soon as the treaty is concluded, that very day, Massasoit says, tomorrow I'll bring my people and we'll plant corn on the other side of the stream. So this sense that, oh, we're the same people now. We're going to be sharing everything.
Over the coming months, the two peoples made halting moves towards codifying their alliance. As a show of friendship, Massasoit formally ceded the settlers the village of Patuxet and all the planting land and hunting grounds around it. In July, Edward Winslow made a 40-mile journey to Massasoit's village, Pokanoket, and presented the chief a gift of a copper chain. The Wampanoag agreed to trade with the English alone, and not the French. Massasoit would benefit as the facilitator of trade between the English and other tribes. A few weeks after Winslow's visit, the Pilgrims invited the Wampanoag to take part in their first American Thanksgiving. But what sealed the relationship was a simple show of personal respect. In February 1623, when a messenger arrived at Plymouth with the news that Massasoit was desperately ill, Winslow, like many Algonquian, rushed to his side.
Winslow makes the point that this is what Indians do. When a friend is sick, everyone congregates at the friend's bedside. This is one of those places where Winslow is acting as he knows Indians expect people to act.
Massasoit?
Senkinau, Winslow.
Nox, Massasoit.
No kaskawa tatia. No be, ne to